Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're in step 4 of the 4-step framework that I created that's guided me, allowed me to scale my company up to 62 rental arbitrage properties. We've grossed over $6 million since our first unit in February of 2020. I'm still a super host on Airbnb and the top of all the platforms in which we book. We beat our competition, staying over 80% occupied. We only have apartments. Our properties aren't any better than anyone else. Actually, in many cases, they're worse. The properties themselves are dated and things like that. And, we're competing against condos, but we're doing these things to make a lot of money in this market. So step 1 was choosing your market, right? We went over market research. Step 2 was how do I acquire properties? And then, what's the process? How do I contact? What do I look for? How do I negotiate? Step 3 is design, list, shop, budget, and ultimately how to beat my competition using the tools and the suggestions that I made about going multi-platform and using direct booking software and getting on the various platforms, hiring a virtual assistant, using professional photos. So that's the first 3 steps of my 4-step framework. And then my 4th step is automating your operations. So I'll give you my story. So my first unit was February of 2020. My 18th unit was in February of 2021. On my 13th month in March of 2021, I then started to automate everything. That entire year, that full 12 months, it was me doing everything off the seat of my pants. It was a mistake. And so I'm here to say that you should do this at door 1. You can automate start automating and systemizing your operations door 1, so that when you're ready to scale, you're in a position to scale. So you can't scale chaos, right? So you have to be in a position ahead of time. And who wants to do all that work? And it's cheaper and it's more efficient and you'll make more money. And that's what business is for. So here's the 4 steps within automating your operations. First, create a front desk. And what I mean by that is I use a job board called onlinejobs.ph. We recruit our virtual assistants, our hospitality virtual assistants from the Philippines. Fantastic people, super smart, very, very good with hospitality, always on time, very professional. And they are your front desk of your vacation rental company, of your short-term rental company, of your hospitality brand. And so we recruit them from onlinejobs.ph. We have a very specific ad copy to recruit the best, and you'll get lots and lots of choices of various people. Now, what I think is important is that you put in your title of your ad copy that they have to have experience with your channel manager. So we use Hospitable, as you know. If you don't use Hospitable, I think it's important that they have training on it, and you have to just verify that they do have training on it. So day 1, they bring you value. They come on board and they're able to manage all your properties. Their learning curve has been reduced greatly from that. And the way that we train them is we have them shadow another senior VA one day, and then the remaining 4 days of their 5-day training, they're leading. And the head VA is shadowing them. It reduces the training time, your costs, and it has them onboarded a lot quicker. But here's the greatest hack of all. We load our channel manager, the messaging part of our channel manager, with 900 canned messages. Those canned messages are intended to go to the guest. So if they say, hey, what's the distance to the beach? Can I stay an extra day? Can I have a towel? Whatever their thing is, we have a message for that. And so our VA can then just do a little quick search on our channel manager search bar, whatever the guest is asking. They say beach, distance, smoking, pet. All those are keywords. They load it in there and they're able to get a message. Now, they could do that to the guest, but what if they have a question? What if a guest is asking them a question before they respond? They could look at the situation. And so the act of them doing that over time will not only allow them to work autonomously, which is the key, but it also educates them quicker about your properties. And so what we don't want to have happen is your work doubles. You hire a VA and every single guest question that occurs, that they're relaying that to you. That's what was happening to us in the beginning. So our learning curve went from 4 months down to 5 days. And so that's what you want. And so you're going to give the parameters of their job to them. So if they, for instance, if something needs to be escalated to you, if money is being reversed, like if you have to send a guest money, refund, cancel a reservation, yeah, that should be escalated to you. Or if there's a safety issue, right, a security safety issue, which in hospitality is actually a thing. So you just have to give them parameters, and then from there, let them go, let them work. And that's how we hire, train, and onboard our VAs. Now I have a full checklist and we give that to our students in our program and all that stuff, but that will get you going. That will actually get you a head start. And I think the virtual assistants is one of the most important hires you can have. It's our second hire. Our housekeepers is our first. As you know, from my previous module, I explained that. And so your second system to set up is your housekeeping system. Now we pay by the hour. We do not pay by the job. Don't recommend paying by the job. Pay by the hour. You'll be able to create a fixed cost per turnover. Your labor cost for us, it's $40 for a one bedroom, $20 an hour times two. That's it. And then you tack on top of that your turnover costs, which are around $9 for supplies, and that's $49, right? Then I put $5 on it, so that's a $55 cleaning cost for me. Then I charge $79 for a cleaning cost. So we make a little bit of money. $79 is actually weight competitive. We're 20% under our market average. So not only are we optimized better, but we get paid on top of cleaning, and we pass through the cleaning costs, which are variable costs in a short-term rental operation. Your fixed costs are your labor and software, your staff and software. And that goes on your fixed costs. They have to be spread out on your units. Your per unit costs, the guests pay for cleaning, as I just expressed there. And so that's how we do it. So how you hire them. So we use Craigslist. I'm not afraid of Craigslist. I like Craigslist. I'm used to them from my old event production days. We use Craigslist, but you just have to kind of weed out the spam and the scam. So we illustrate everything. We say it's $20 an hour. You'll be working weekends. And by the way, when I say $20 an hour, we have an expectation of what it will cost, what each unit is. So you don't work more than 2 hours for a one bedroom or 3 hours for a two bedroom. We list all that. You have to work weekends. You need a car. You need a phone. You need a smartphone, because they are going to do way more than cleaning. And then when you do interview them, and we put a link in there, send us a video, a quick 30-second video why you want to work with us. That weeds out scam, and that weeds out spam, international spam, and it serves a lot of purposes, right? It just, intentionality in a lot of things. So you have that video. Then when you do interview them, I would suggest you interview them by phone, by FaceTime. And then you quickly say, hey, here's the job. And you explain to them, and you explain to them, this is a short-term rental housekeeping. It's not traditional housekeeping. And you're going to be doing supplies and inventory, taking photos of the property when you leave and all that. So now the person that's on site does way more, and it reduces the need to hire someone to do inventory and supplies and inspections and all that stuff. They're going to do that. Between your VA and your housekeeper, they're doing 95% of what needs to be done, maybe more. 90% of this job is communication, scheduling your housekeepers, talking to guests, answering inquiries in the middle of the night. Your VA does all that. And then your housekeeper, when they need to be on site, they do more than cleaning, supplies and inventory and inspections. So then if something breaks, and our housekeepers actually do some light maintenance, but when something really breaks, and then that's the building. If you're doing arbitrage, that's the building. You put a ticket in for that. But if something of yours breaks, or you need to touch up a wall or something like that, or put a new wallpaper, that will be someone on your team. That's the other, I say less than 5%, but let's just say 5% of the time. So that's how we automate everything, by establishing our front desk, establish our housekeeping system. We train them by having one of them shadow another housekeeper, and whatever their strong suit is. Housekeepers are notoriously difficult on one another. So they'll scrutinize the other one's job, and they'll be the inspector. And then you get a real, objective inspection from one housekeeper to the other. So you can give them a little extra work. We actually have them send each photo when they're done. They send photos of each job when they're done. We have a little locker in each apartment, and we put in cleaning supplies, and we have another, usually a closet, that we lock up, and that's guest supplies. So we'll have them do inventory on those. They send it. They have a Google app, Google Sheets app on their thing. They'll update the Google Sheets. Next time that someone needs to go to that apartment, if something is needed in there, it's in a column, and then they swing by the storage unit. We have a self delivery accepted storage unit. So we just ship everything to a storage unit. The storage unit company pushes it all in there. Once a week, our housekeeper goes in there, organizes it, puts it in shelves, and updates the inventory, and make sure that it's there, it's received. And then they swing by there once a week, get supplies that are in their car, and bring them to the unit. It saves us. We pay them an extra hour for that once a week, and a half hour if they're just swinging by the storage unit. So $10. Step 3 is your hardware and software tools. I'm going to do a quick screen share on that one. So hardware, software. So hardware is your minute security device. So we use a minute decibel meter. It's the life changer. $120. You can get a promo code. They're online. You get it for $99. It's a decibel meter. It will tell you if if it's loud in the unit. It doesn't record audio or anything weird like that. Airbnb actually recommends it. It's an app, and your VAs in the Philippines will monitor it. So it's great. And so that's hardware. Software is the app. Same with the security devices like Blink. You can use Blink for more security. We use Kangaroo. You can use Ring Doorbell for security, which you can. You just have to figure out the logistics. Sometimes it doesn't work in an apartment model. Sometimes it does, but the minute is enough if you need just that. I do like security cameras though. Then as a team a communication structure, you can use WhatsApp or Slack, Google Sheets, Google Drive. And here is the big one. So I use Hospitable as our channel manager. Let me get on that right now. Screen share with you. So I use Hospitable. It channels all of our properties together. You can see here, all of our guests are they're messaging here, whether they're on this one's Google Travel, Verbo, Airbnb. You can see their little icon here. It allows us to put canned messages, auto messages. It's amazing. The automation possibilities are really endless here. It even changes your smart code lock if you use a certain type of brand. I mean, it's amazing. It does reviews automatically, which we don't want. So we have everything in here in your channel manager. This software alone will allow you to really scale up. It took me a while to get on here. It even has a direct booking page on here, and it's free, and it syncs to your bank account and connects your calendar. So it's a no-brainer to go there. The other software I would use is Price Labs, or a pricing software. You don't have to use Price Labs. I've used a few. I used Beyond Pricing back in the day. It's 1% of gross revenue. So we were getting $2,000 bills every month. And so we jumped ship from them because that's expensive. And so we moved to Price Labs. It'll make you money because your prices are maybe too high for certain guests, and it will drop the price based on market conditions. And so you won't know. You might think, oh, my price is fine. It isn't fine. It might be because there's a glut of inventory. Conversely, if there's a lot of properties got booked and yours is the last Indian, so then it will increase your price. So we'll update it twice a day. Our VAs actually manually go there and refresh, because the more it's updated, the better your prices are. You can do rule sets, and you can really get in the weeds on pricing, but you really can set it and forget it to a certain degree. By setting your base price, it actually gives a recommendation on your base price based on the type of property you are. It will say, are you luxury? Are you economy? And it will do a market analysis for you. It will set your base price, and then it increases based on supply and demand and inventory and holidays and all that. It's really amazing. So pricing software, Hospitable as your channel manager, which I can't say enough about it. It really is that good. $35 per listing, and the price goes down from there. Minute, Blink, Ring Doorbell, smart locks. So smart locks are great. So we can actually tell when our housekeepers are in and out based on the log. There's all kinds of stuff that a smart lock does. Plus, it's really good for your guest safety. People get a hold of a key. You never know. So the smart lock is a great tool for your overall security, for the ease of check-in, which you get reviewed on. Guests will review you first on cleanliness, and then second based on ease of check-in, and then third on accuracy, on how accurate the listing is from what it was advertised about. And so those are the three things. So ease of check-in is a big deal, and checkout. So you want to communicate with your guests properly and give them proper check-in procedures, and even photos. We use a collage of thumbnail photos to show them lockbox over here, park over there, go in the elevator there, check in there, have fun. And so we do those things, but those are the tools that you'll need to connect your team, have them work together. For instance, our VAs in the Philippines created a shorthand with our housekeepers in California so they can communicate easier. It's amazing that they did that without any kind of sort of suggestions about that. It just made them work more efficiently, and they are a team, even though they're different parts. Our VAs, for instance, were two of them just got back from maternity leave. So we paid them while they were maternity leave. The government of Philippines does pay maternity leave, but not for people who work from home. They're an integral part of our team. So of course that was a no-brainer to do that. So they communicate with each other, and it's really quite amazing. Now the fourth step is implementing your protocols and training. For instance, so when your VA is on duty, they are the boss, they are the manager on duty, they are the one responsible for everything that happens. Everyone else leads, even the boss, even my operations guy only gets escalated to if they can't handle an issue. But here's a big, big, big hack. So they can never ask a question when the lead VA is on and they have their FAQ bar, and they're answering questions based on experience and based on the knowledge they have and the resources they have available to them. If they can't answer a question, they can't ask it in the group chat to the boss. They have to pose it in the form of a proposal. They're like, okay, it says we can only accept 4 people in unit number 1, but we have a guest there's 6 of them. I looked at their reviews and I looked at their makeup of their party. It looks like there's 2 of those 6 people are actually teenagers and they're coming for a Bible conference and their reviews are great. I recommend that we actually host them, and it's short term and we need the booking because our windows we're vacant. We're not going to get a booking probably in that amount of time based on our track record. That would be ideal, right? So then they're able to pose it, and then the boss just gives them a thumbs up. So anytime they're making an exception to the rule, they're required to kind of throw it up. But that's basically how it goes down. And we just started doing that not too long ago because it was taking a long time for the VAs to be autonomous and to go through their training and their learning curve. And that not only gets them more proactive, but it puts them in a position of authority, and it gets them it's a good way to train a VA. So that's how we implement it all. We go through our reservation process with them, so checkout's 10, check-in is 3, and everything in between, you have to be on duty for that. And so that's who does the job. Now, if something does get kicked up, if it's a safety issue or if it's money leaving the company, like a refund or cancellation of a reservation, they do have to escalate that, and then the manager does get involved in it. If it's you, if it's just if you're just a solopreneur, then it would be you. But I would wholeheartedly urge you, once you get to your 4th property or maybe 5th, use that new cash flow to hire a full-time operations manager. So that could be $6,000-7,000 a month, whatever the entry level salary is. Then you usually about your 4th or 5th unit, that's what you'll be making net, and so probably more than that. And so because your margins are lower. So I was making $2,500 a door when I was 50% occupancy, and that number dropped down to about $1,500 when I had a full team. So so in the beginning, you're going to be making a lot more. So you could get within a few units, which is basically 3 or 4 apartments next to one another in a building. You can get those like that. It took me 2 months, and I didn't know a thing to get 4 apartments. It took me 6 months to get 9 apartments, one owner. So you can see the power of leverage your relationship with the owner. And there were 3 cities, 3 different cities, one owner, 9 apartments. I got to the number I needed to save my family. Our business blew up during COVID. I produced festivals very successfully for 10 years, big events all over the place, and music festivals, food fests, and such. And our business blew up during COVID. In March, we had 2 rental arbitrages under our belt. They were doing well, so we gave it a go. And so by August, the amount of money we're making eclipsed what I needed to live. And our expenses were a lot. And so I took this business seriously at that point. At the beginning of that, I thought it was a stopgap. I thought, oh, the events are going to come back. Silly me, right? And they didn't. So I pressed on, and then another 6 months, I had 18 properties. Another year, I had 45, and then I've acquired 63 properties. And I never looked back. The event business, as good as it was, it's a young man's game, and it's a very active business. I could not formalize my system. I could not do this. What I'm doing now, the implementing protocols and training and automating everything, it just can't be done in the events business. If it can, I'd love to hear someone that automated that business, but I couldn't do it, couldn't figure it out. And I wore all the hats. And in this business, I don't do a thing. It's 100% passive. It has been passive since August of 2021, 2.5 years ago, through this process that I created. So guest messaging, we use Ring Central. So we use an app on Ring Central. We typically like to message them through Hospitable, which goes through the platforms in which people book. But occasionally a guest likes to message us directly. And so we'll need an app. You'll need a phone. So, because our teams are all over the place, what's the best app? We just use Ring Central, and it's an app. They can use it on their phone, and then the VAs get the text message, or if a guest calls us, we have that as our central work number. And so they call that. So WhatsApp, Ring Central, Ring doorbell, or smart locks, and smart locks. Hospitable and Price Labs is your channel manager. You connect them all. Your VA leads the team. And so that's your 4-step automation, your automating your operations step. I hope that helps. Clearly, there's a lot of nuance to this. There's a lot more that we build out for our students in our paid program, but this is free, and I thought this would definitely help you get going. These 4 steps, the 4 steps that I laid out for you guys: market research, acquisitions, listing optimization, and running your Airbnb, and now this one, this automating your process. This will allow you to get and go. And you could do I mean, I had 0 and I look what I did. And so you definitely, and most people know way more than I did about hospitality than I did. I'll assure you that. And so you'll be able to do all of this yourself. And so this is a great first step for you. I'm glad you sat in on this mini course. If you have any further questions, throw them in the school community. We'd love to see your participation. If you have any questions, go ahead, just share them in the school community. I'd love to have someone on my team answer them, or perhaps I'll be able to do that myself. Well, I hope you enjoyed the 4 steps on how I automate my operations of my business, and I actually hope you enjoyed the mini course in general. There's a lot here. The 4-step framework has guided me and allowed me to scale my company to ultimately earn over $6 million for the last over the last 4 years. So if I can do it, you can do it. And especially now that you have this 4-step framework, I do, however, also have a paid community on School. We have a 120-day, 40-module course, weekly Q&As, monthly masterclass that's live with me. It's only $97 a month. A lot of value for $97 a month, and you can cancel it anytime. And if you don't like it, you can get a refund. If you join, if you don't like it, within 2 weeks, you can get a refund. And so join that. We'll share a link. If you, however, want something one-on-one and a masterclass, I offer a very successful, well-known mentorship, a one-on-one mentorship, and I also have a group mentorship live. But the one-on-one, our average students are crushing deals at 45 days. And so, if you want to join that, message me and I'll send you a link to the program. We can talk more about that. But look, if you want to stay in the free community, and if you're on a budget, this is fantastic. You have way more than I had to start your business and to get going. So I welcome you to the community and thank you for taking this class.